The Cannabis Show is for information only. Nothing contained in the show is intended to constitute professional advice for medical diagnosis or treatment. We do not claim this information to be complete or exhaustive or to be applicable to any particular individual's medical condition. You should always consult with a qualified and licensed physician or other medical care provider.
Welcome to the Cannabis Show. Today we're going to find out about a certain strain of cannabis that is actually good for asthma. Who would have thought? We're also going to find out about weighing and measuring with Medicaid. All that and more, so stick around. It's time for Strain versus Strain. Hart and Basil will go head-to-head and each have 30 seconds to make their case. Basil will defend Jack Herrera and Hart will represent Jean-Guy. Okay, who's first? You know what, Basil? You're taller. You go first. 3, 2, 1, and go!
All right, Jack Herrera, classic strain. Sensi seeds in the Netherlands. Euphoric, uplifting, energizing, great morning strain, kills a hangover. It's consistently higher in THC than Jean-Guy, consistently higher in pinene and myrcene, the two terpenes that actually are important, the other ones you can have. I mean, look at the namesake. This guy ran for president twice, actually got some votes, grassroots party, and he wrote a book, Emperor Wears No Clothes.
Okay, that's all your time. Good job, though. Okay, Hart, Jean-Guy, go!
All right, Jean-Guy, what can you say about Jean-Guy? I don't need the whole 30 seconds to obliterate him, actually, but what I'll say about Jean-Guy, it's a fantastic, it's a sativa dominant strain. It's great for pain, great for relaxation. You want to talk terpenes? Yeah, you may have it in the myrcene side and maybe a couple other terpenes, but you will never touch it in terms of linalool or limonene, so don't even get me started on those. The other thing, Jack Herrera, he may have ran for president, but he didn't win.
Okay, you're cut off too. Whoa, guys, that was excellent, and this is going to be a close one. Who do you think won? Tell us in the YouTube comments below. We'll announce the winning strain in an upcoming show, and we'll also choose a winning comment at random to win a rain vaporizer.
Hemp breathes in 4 times the carbon dioxide as trees and has the perfect balance of essential fatty acids, omega-3 and 6.
Welcome to Terp Talk. This is when we investigate certain terpenes that are found in your cannabis. And quickly, what is a terpene?
Yeah, so terpenes are just one of the many organic molecules that we find in our cannabis plant.
Now, what I really like about today's one is because you would never really think that cannabis would help with asthma, but it does because of pinene, the terpene that is found in some cannabis. Tell us about pinene.
Yeah, that's right. So pinene, it boils nice and low. It's right around 311 degrees Fahrenheit. It is that terpene that it helps. It's a bronchodilator, so it's just going to help open things up.
And so, give us an example.
Yeah, so here's an example. You crack open a bottle of Jack Herrera, and that first smell, it feels like you're walking through a forest. And just as a good friend of mine always says, you go walk through a pine forest and you take a nice deep breath in, you're going to open things up. You're going to feel great. It's going to help sharpen your short-term memory and help sharpen your focus as well.
So pinene helps you breathe and it helps you with your memory.
Also a great pain reliever.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, it's amazing what these terpenes can do. Pinene is one that we were just talking about today. But in every show, we're going to be investigating another terpene with Terp Talk. It's Medicaid time with our very own Kate. And you know, Kate, with the legalization of medicinal cannabis, obviously we're getting a lot more users nowadays, first-time users. And really the big question is, how much do they take when they first start off?
Low and slow. That's all you have to remember. Low and slow, yeah. So if you're doing an oil, for instance, it will come with a dropper. This is like a milliliter, typically a milliliter. You'll want to start, if it's a CBD, which is non-psychoactive, you'll want to start with about a 0.25, which is a quarter of a milliliter. And then note how exactly it affects you. You'll want to keep a notebook for sure.
So you have a journal ready?
Yeah, with the time of day, the strain and what you're taking exactly and how it's affecting you exactly. And then maybe the next day, if that's not enough, you can always go to a 0.5 if it's a CBD. But if it's a THC, start with maybe 0.1 and then go up the next day, for instance, by another 0.1.
Because the THC is psychoactive.
Is
and
psychoactive.
It could really do some things.
Exactly, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so that is for the oil. And what about the dry cannabis?
So when you get a prescription from the doctor, it might be like 1 gram a day, for instance. That doesn't mean that you're going to do 1 gram a day. You might do just, a teeny bit of that. This is about 1 gram. That's what 1 gram looks like on the scale. But you might do, maybe this much, and you'd ground it in this, you'd put in your vaporizer, you'd have a draw from it, and you would note the effects, basically. And from there, you would, again, write it all down and make sure that it's exactly what you need. If it's not, then up it just a teeny bit the next day.
And then really, how long would it take for the cannabis go through your system?
Onset for the oil, good question, is about an hour to onset, and then everybody's a little bit different. It usually peaks about 2 or 3 hours in. Onset for the dried, because it's going through your lungs and right into your blood system, is about, it's almost instant, but peak is probably about 10 minutes in.
Good to know, Kate. Thank you very much. And that is Medicate for this episode. You can ask us anything. I'm Chris, and with me I have a couple bud geniuses. We have Basil and Hart. And if you got a question for us, you can email us or you can tweet it to us as well at NatHealthServe. Our question today, guys, comes from Heather. And before I get to the question, she just put a little note in there as well. She goes, thanks and keep up the good work. So good job. Pat on the back. All right, so here's a question. From Heather, I would like to see an episode on proper vaping techniques. I've been vaping for 13 years now, and while technique works great, I often wonder if I'm vaping too far. Do I need to vape until there is no more green left and it's all brown?
Yeah, fantastic question. So as you know, when you start off your vaporizer, you grind up the product. It would start off being a nice green color. You put it into the vaporizer. You're going to hit it probably 3 to 6 times. It's going to turn that brown color that almost looks like cigarette tobacco. That's when you know that those cannabinoids and terps in that particular session are pretty much expired.
Now, what can you do with the remnants of that?
Yeah, actually, you can save that. You haven't utilized all of the cannabinoids yet and all the terpenes, so you can save that and you can repurpose that into something else, like a butter.
Oh, wow. And you know what? We did talk about butter in the 5th episode of the Cannabis Show, so you can go back and check that out as well. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Again, if you got a question for us, email us, or you can tweet in your question to @NatHealthServe.